everyone, and welcome back to episode 14 of the Yarn Curator Podcast. My name is Naomi. I am the host of this channel where I like to talk about knitting, spinning, primarily the fiber arts, but occasionally I'll talk about cooking, sewing, general life, and all of that good stuff. If you are a new viewer or a returning viewer, welcome to all y'all. I am so happy to have you here and share what I've been making with you, as well as hear about what you've been making or your thoughts in general. If you'd like to follow me on social media, I am the Yarn Curator on Instagram, as well as House of Cardigans on Ravelry. I do share a podcast group on Ravelry as well with my sister Zoe, who has the Felicity Yarn Studio podcast. It's under the name the Curated Felicity Podcast Group on Ravelry. If you want to go join the group, please do so. It's pretty new and fresh, and in there you'll see that we are currently hosting a knit or make along right now called the New Year Old Yarn Kal, K-A-L. We will have a chatter thread going. Probably in the next week or two we'll make a finished objects thread, and we will also be pulling winners from that giveaway from Instagram as well, using the hashtag New Year Old Yarn KAL. It is a very informal make along, so feel free, if you crochet or knit or sew or spin, please enter whatever you'd like into the pool, because we just want to spread some love with you guys. So yeah, feel free to check those out, and don't feel just because it has knit along in the title of our little Kal that we're doing right now that you're not welcome. So today is probably gonna be a pretty quick episode. I've been working pretty monogamously on 2 whips, and then I do have 1 finished object to share with you guys as well. So probably not going to be the longest episode, but hey, I'd rather do nice, short, sweet, and concise episodes for you guys than keep you here all day long. So first up, for finished objects, I did finish about a week ago my basic raglan pullover by Joji Locatelli. I am not going to talk too in depth about this project here, because I did recently upload a finished object video, kind of my thoughts and reviews of the pattern itself. I will link to that down below in the description bar, as well as everything else that I talk about in today's episode. But just quickly, if you don't feel like going and watching that pattern review, this is, as I said, the basic raglan pullover. It is knit out of Madeline Tosh yarn on their DK twist base in the Twin Peaks colorway. I did do a combination of helical knitting and another technique for alternating my skeins, and I think it turned out really well. I knit the size large for a 42-inch bust, and it fits with kind of no ease. I do need to reblock it because I threw it in the dryer because it was getting to be a little too big, and then I forgot it was in the dryer, and so it just shrunk back to its unblocked size. So once I finish recording today, I'm probably going to reblock it and let it grow just a little bit again, because it was fitting just about perfectly before I did that. In terms of modifications, I only really made 1 modification to this pattern, and that is on the sleeves. They include a series of decreases to get a nice fitted tapered sleeve. I was not paying attention to the pattern and failed to work those at the correct point in the pattern. So as you can see here, there's just a little bit of a tapered decrease on the sleeve right there, but it worked out in the end. And as I said, in that other pattern review video, I talk a little bit more about how I did that. For my bind offs, I did what's called a lace bind off. It's nice and stretchy without being too stretchy, if that makes sense. So yeah, overall, I think this is a great beginner friendly sweater. If you're an adventurous beginner and want to try making your first sweater, I would highly recommend this pattern. I also think it's a great alternative to the no frills pattern, which is also just a basic raglan, but it's not the most size inclusive pattern. So So yeah, I don't want to spend too much time talking about this. I would really encourage you to go watch that other video because I don't want this channel to feel too redundant for those of you who do watch every week. So next up is works in progress. This is currently living in a little project bag I have from Twist Fiber Studio. I picked this up at SAF last year and I absolutely love it. So I was cleaning the other day and I was trying to make sure all of my individual project bags each had like a notions pouch and scissors and all of that good stuff in them. That way each bag is equipped with the tools needed, you know, if I'm knitting on the go or anything like that. And I didn't even realize it, but this bag ended up getting all of the animal themed stuff in it. How cute is that? So it made me chuckle. And then like in here, I believe is like a dragonfly stitch marker, but yeah, I just keep kind of what I need in there: measuring tape, scissors, darning needle, as well as some extra stitch markers. And I try and keep something like this in most of my bags. I am not going to say it's always that way, but it is nice when they're all there together. So my first whip I have to talk about with you guys is actually a new cast on. It is the Tiger Owl Cowl by Greg Cahoon. It is a free pattern and it is the, or let me back up. In March, I will be going to North Carolina to meet up with my mom, my aunts, and my sister for the Carolina Fiber Festival. And as part of this event, they sponsor a make-along in conjunction with the event, and they offer a free knitting and crochet pattern, and you can knit an accessory to wear to the festival, you know, for everyone to get into the spirit of the event. And so this pattern is the knitting pattern chosen for the make-along. And so I am knitting mine out of some La Bien-Aimée in the pink granite colorway. This yarn Zoe recently picked up for me when she went to Black Mountain Yarn Shop in North Carolina for a little meet and greet they had with Stephen West, and she is just a great sister, so thank you, Zoe. And yeah, it's the most beautiful kind of grubby pink mauve tonal. I'm really enjoying knitting with this yarn. It's funny because everyone is currently, I think I'm one of the last people to be working on this project, but everyone's kind of struggled with different aspects of the pattern, and I guess we all have our things, but I will hold it up for you guys so you can see. So as you can see, it is all over lace that makes this kind of owl's face within the lace, and then in between each lace repeat is this alternating cable as well. So it's really pretty. See if I can hold it up for you guys. Really pretty pattern. I'm really enjoying it. I just popped stitches off the needle. But yeah, I'm really enjoying the pattern so far. I believe I have done close to 2 full lace repeats. So part of why I'm not further along in this project is I set it down one evening and I couldn't remember what row I last left off on, and so I just need to sit down, look at the stitches, and figure out where or what row I need to pick up on. But it takes me in the evenings, I can knock out about 1 repeat of the chart in an evening, so I know I'll be able to knock this out quickly. We have plenty of time before the event, and yeah, I'm really excited. I believe 3 out of 6 of us, I believe half of us still have to go finishing it, but we'll get there. So my only other whip I have to talk about with you guys is living in this project bag that I made over Christmas, and I actually took it to work the other day, and I think my coworker thought it was a lunchbox, but she was like, "That's so cute!" And then we got to talk about how we both are very terrible at sewing. and how we wish we would have learned at a younger age, but c'est la vie. But that being said, within it is kind of the whip that is getting all of my love and attention right now, which is the Poet pullover. It's a pattern by Sari Nordlund. It was previously in an issue of Lina magazine. However, you can purchase the pattern as an individual download on Ravelry. So let me hold it up for you guys. I am knitting this on size 4 needles out of Vichy Bouche, which is yarn from Scotland, but I purchased it in Austin on a trip there last year. It is in the turquoise colorway, so if you see that little unicorn stitch marker, that is where I was the last time I recorded, and I have worked a good 2 to 3 inches on the yoke of this sweater since then. I'm gonna hold up the back because you can see what the lace motif looks like a lot better, since it's a little bit longer than the front with the short row shaping incorporated into that. So it's this absolutely beautiful all over lace with a seed stitch in between the lace sections. In my last episode, I talked about how I was really struggling with this pattern and kind of getting frustrated with it because there's different charts for the front and the back while you're working your yoke. It does switch to one chart when you get past your sleeve separation. However, I was just getting really overwhelmed with having to switch between 2 different e-readers to read the chart, and then increasing, and then when you were working the short rows, that was a whole nother layer of complexity. And I believe it was Cindy on my last video left some great helpful tips, so I definitely took those into consideration, and I think I finally devised a system that works for me. So I'm keeping it old school, just checking off the rows on the chart as I finish them, particularly while I'm working increases for the yoke, because on the odd number rows you are adding increased stitches into the raglan, and so that's really helped me keep track of what row I'm on as well as what I'm supposed to be working within the pattern. And then I'm getting to the next part. It's the last set of increases that I need to work before I can divide for my sleeves, and it's a series of 4 rows, and you do something a little bit different. So I also have those further marked out on here so I can keep track of it as I go. Overall, I'm really pleased. I've only messed up in one section. I'm not even sure how I did it, but there is one section of seed stitch right here where you can see I messed up the seed stitch. It used to be the whole kind of area across these 2 or 3 rows was in, the columned, 1 by 1 stitching. I dropped down and fixed them in pattern. I didn't feel comfortable fixing these 2 stitches right here because there's decreases with those, and I just didn't want to end up dropping a stitch. So what I'm going to do is go back over those and just duplicate stitch over it so it looks like the seed stitch, and I think it'll be fine because it'll be fine. But I'm not quite sure how I did that. Anyways, I think now that I can see the pattern and see what things are supposed to look like, and it's getting a little bit more intuitive, I've actually been able to work on this in the evenings after work. Kind of after dinner, when my husband and I have sat down on the couch and we're just watching TV, or he's playing a video game and there's not a whole lot of talking involved, I can kind of sink my teeth into this and really get into a good rhythm. So this has really been getting a lot of my attention lately because I've never tried something as challenging as this, and so I'm really enjoying the challenge of making this sweater right now. So yeah, I will apprise you guys of, hopefully by time we next talk, I will have divided my sleeves and will be smooth sailing on the body. I really want to cast on a new sweater that's coming out by Amy of the Little Tailoress podcast. She is releasing a pattern called Whitmoor, I believe on Valentine's Day. And it's this absolutely beautiful mohair sweater that also features lace in the yoke, and then it's kind of just plain stockinette stitched down from there. And I have been stalking her Instagram since November, waiting for this pattern to come out. And so I have a feeling once that comes out, I'll purchase it. And I already have the yarn. I've already swatched for it. I need it to be published so I can start on it. So once that comes out, I'll probably be distracted from this for a little bit. But until then, I will probably be faithfully knitting on my Poet. I have also been pattern browsing colorwork sweaters because I am kind of craving an all over colorwork sweater. So I'm thinking one of those is probably going to happen sooner rather than later, because I don't know, I've been feeling drawn to more complex projects lately. At the same time, I really need to cast on something mindless for the evenings after work, because there are many evenings where I'm like, man, I just want to knit plain stockinette. I should probably pick up either my mitered square or northeasterly blankets again, because those are kind of perfect for that, but they just haven't been calling me lately. So that is it for works in progress. I do have 2 spinning projects to talk about with you guys. So first up is I'm going to talk to you guys about a braid I purchased over the holidays from an Etsy shop called Spindle Warps. And I don't remember the colorway name of this roving, but I will hold it up here for you guys. It's this really pretty pink, purple, blue. It kind of looks like cotton candy, and it's a 4-ounce roving. I believe it is merino and silk. It might be merino and bamboo. I unfortunately don't remember. It's really this pretty kind of pastel color. In the photo online, it was less pink than what came to me. I'm just braiding it up for you real quick so you can get a better view of it. In her picture online, it seemed like it had more blues and purples and less pinks, and I feel like what I got is more pink in color, which is fine. It's just not kind of my normal palette. And so that is spinning up. I'm doing probably between the single itself is spinning up between, I would say, fingering to a light sport weight for the single. So my finished plied yarn is probably going to be between a sport and a DK weight. And the only reason this isn't finished is I've been debating if I want to go ahead and just spin the entire 4-ounce into one single and then ply it with some, I either have Polworth, some undyed Polworth, or undyed merino that I have in my stash, and get this really cool but toned down kind of pastel barber pole effect, or do I want to spin this other half of the braid into a single and then ply the 2 together. Another option is if I wanted to go kind of up in weight for the yarn, I could do 2 ply out of the 2 ounces and then spin another 2 ounces of the undyed fiber and ply the 3 together. So I need to decide what I want to do. Right now I'm leaning towards spinning the whole braid and then plying it with some undyed yarn, because I'm worried that the 2 plied together will take the color palette towards a little too baby of a feel, you know, really light pinks and blues. And I don't know if I would actually knit with it if that was the case, whereas I'm thinking the plying it with the white bare singles would kind of tone it down a little bit more. So that's what I'm leaning towards right now, but we'll see. And yeah, I would like to eventually make a shawl, a Vertices Unite shawl by Stephen West out of all handspun yarn. I would like for it to be in shades of pinks and purples, and potentially some grays in there as well to kind of give some weight to the project. This might go in that stack I kind of have slowly accumulating of handspun for that potential project. I might just go browse some of Stephen's other patterns as well, because they're so great in terms of the different shapes he often incorporates into different patterns that you can work in a lot of different yarns. So I'm thinking one of his patterns will be great for building some more handspun in. So that is spin number 1. Let me swap one crinkly bag for another. So the second bit of fiber that I've been working on this week is from another Etsy shop called Spotted Circus. We did see them at SAF in October when I was there, but Zoe and I, for whatever reason, didn't buy anything from their booth. And she then, over the holidays, also put in a purchase, I believe, with her shop. And when she mailed down the La Bien Aimée, she also mailed me this braid. It is 21 micron merino in her Maleficent colorway. It's this really interesting braid. As you can see here, this is what the roving looks like. It's obviously been run through a carder and then dizzed to get this effect, and it's kind of all the colors of a peacock feather. So you have black and a vibrant purple, blue, cyan, yellow. There's even some little white bits in there. While I'm holding it right now, it looks like one of those troll dolls spinning a troll. Maybe that's what I'll have to name this handspun, troll hair or something like that. Anyways, it's really, you know, kind of an interesting combination of colors, and it's spinning into this really cool yarn. And I mean, it kind of just translates into this crazy marled yarn. But it kind of looks like, to me, it looks like all the finished yarn, or the single, looks like if you took a peacock feather and made it into handspun. And so it's got this really cool depth of color between the blues and the purples mixing with the black that then mixed with the kind of chartreusey yellows. So I'm really enjoying this, and not to mention really enjoying the effect of the yarn that I'm getting. I'm really enjoying just the fiber preparation itself. It drafts like butter. It's like I have to put pretty much no effort into drafting. So if you're a beginner and you're just getting comfortable with your wheel and haven't really developed the hand-eye coordination between your drafting hand and everything, I would highly recommend this fiber, because if you'll see here, I mean, I'm barely pulling on that to pull that fiber out. It's just absolutely silky smooth, and I'm really enjoying it. So this is about 2 ounces left here. This is 2 ounces spun here. I will probably get between, once again, a fingering and a sport weight for my finished yarn, maybe close to a DK, and I plan on spinning this into a single, applying the 2 together, and I'm not sure what I will make out of this, but I'm really enjoying the yarn I'm getting. So I hope it's picking up the depth of color in there. I apologize that I'm not in the direct sun. I did actually film this morning, but I do everything on my cell phone and I ran out of storage, so only the first 10 minutes of my recording were captured. And so here I am again, but it's still a gorgeous day, and I can't resist being out here in the yard, because in like a month and a half it's going to be hotter than Hades again, and so I'm trying to revel in the little bit of winter / spring that is left. I know those of you in the West, Midwest, Northeast, and anywhere that is really not Florida, I feel like, are still experiencing cold temperatures. I am jealous of you. I know some of you guys comment like, oh man, it's blizzarding outside, or it's cold and nasty. I am jealous of your comments. I know some of you would I will happily trade places with any of you for a week, and you can come get the cool relief of Florida in the depths of winter. I will trade spots with you. I miss winter. It's one of the things I miss most about Colorado and living in the mountains is actually, well, except for night times, because our cabin did not have forced heating upstairs. We actually heated with a wood burning stove, and got really cold when the fire went out in the stove. But otherwise, I absolutely loved it. I think snow is just beautiful. But I miss the snow in the mountains and being cold and bundling up and layering and just kind of getting to wear all your cozy clothes. So that is it for general making content. In terms of life updates, I don't have too much to talk about between now and the last episode. Mr. Yarn Curator, as I mentioned before, started his new job, so he's been doing that for about a week. He's going to be in training for the next month or so, so we're not quite sure if he likes the job or yet. Just has to take some time to get used to it. And then I myself also last week started a new schedule with my work, and so I'm adjusting to it, and hopefully it works out. I enjoyed my first week so far of the new schedule, because it kind of front loads the week with kind of the crazier, busier days at the museum, and then tapers off to where I can kind of slow down and not feel like I'm sprinting to the end of the week. As part of kind of there's a gigantic lizard on this palm tree right now, and he's doing a little mating dance. Sorry, I got distracted. Anyways, I did last weekend have the chance to go to Zoo Tampa, which is a lovely zoo. I haven't been there since I was a kid, and it was nice because it's not a huge zoo. You can walk the whole place in a few hours and feel like you've taken in all of the different animal exhibits. So I'm gonna close out today's vlog with some footage from there, because I did want to share that experience with you guys. But if you liked today's episode, feel free to leave a comment down below, hit that thumbs up button, and if you're not already subscribed, I hope you'll consider subscribing, as it just helps get my video out there onto YouTube for other people to see and continue to grow this community. So as always, you guys, thank you for watching. Until next time, I hope you enjoy your making, your crafting, whatever brings you joy, and I will talk to you later. Bye.